So it's New Year's Eve, and that means that 2019 is finally coming to an end. And not only that, but a whole decade. So the blunt truth is you're either closer to kind of the life that you want to have, or you're not. The upside to that, you can change that in 2020. Now, I'm not going to sit here and do a typical New Year's video that you're going to see all across YouTube about setting some goals, crushing them, doing better than you did last year. I think that's all great, but one thing I've learned about myself is if you go back and watch my last year video, I set these goals that I thought I was going to accomplish this year to make me a better person, make me a better father, make me a better husband, employee, all these things. And as you're going to see, I don't think I accomplished any of them. By 5 card, and we're writing down some goals right here. So I'm going to start by writing 2019 goals at the top. So here I am in my bathroom, and this is where I'm going to put my goals so that every day when I wake up, I have to see this. So I need to put this 3x5 card that I filled out, and I need to put it where in eye view every day. But in my opinion, I would have a hard time arguing that 2019 wasn't a successful year for me and my family.
For the record, I'm done trying to make y'all comfortable. For the record, you ain't trying to grow, then it's done for you. For the record, lab on me going all the way. For the record, ain't trying to link, no time to waste. For the record, for the record. So nice to y'all, now I got to up price on y'all. Snake eyes on dice for y'all, shoulders on ice for y'all. A6 all the hate, I won't get a ball today. Got lost in the ball and A's. I'm flipping the bars, I'm flipping the on record, off record. I still count wins when they got it. On record, off record. I let them take advantage, I was wildin'. On record, off record deals. Tell them talk to Colin for the quote. On record, off record. I still want the act, not the ghost. For the record, I'm done trying to make y'all comfortable. For the record, you ain't trying to grow, then it's done for you. For the record, lab on me going all the way. For the record, ain't trying to link, no time to waste. For the record, for the record. So y'all, snake eyes on dice for y'all, shoulders on ice for y'all. A6 all the hate, I won't get a ball today. Got lost in the ball and A's. I'm flipping the bars, I'm flipping the on record, off record. I still count wins when they got it. On record, off record. I let them take advantage, I was wildin'. On record, off record deals. Tell them talk to Colin for the quote. On record, off record. I still want the act, not the ghost. For the record, I'm done trying to make y'all comfortable. For the record, trying to grow, then it's done for you. For the record, lab on me going all the way.
Then my wife surprised me with the announcement that we're going to be having a daughter. And that was something that kind of changed my whole outlook on the entire year, from something that seemed very golf focused and trying to accomplish a lot of that stuff to, wow, my family's growing. I'm going to have to change a lot of things, but also in a good way. None of those things were really on my radar of my goals besides maybe traveling for golf, but I consider that to be a very successful year. I got to travel, I got to play golf, my family is growing, all of us have our health at the moment, so there's zero complaints, yet I didn't get to mark off a lot of things on my goal list. I didn't lose the weight that I wanted to. I didn't take the family on as many trips as I had hoped for. But sometimes you have to realize that goals set you up for kind of a one-dimension outcome, and that isn't the only way to be happy, because at the beginning of the year, I didn't know that I would be having a daughter. I didn't know these great trips would be coming up. I didn't know that I was going to have so much fun doing stuff that wasn't on my goal list, that those goals kind of became unimportant. So that's got me thinking, with the new year coming up real soon, am I going to set some goals again this year to do certain things, accomplish certain things? And I honestly feel like I'm not going to do that this year. I don't know that it paid dividends for me to do it last year, and I almost feel like I'm the type of person that adapts to stuff as it comes up, but is always dabbling in different things that could lead to wherever. So I think a good goal for me would be to continue to dabble and see where that leads me. But it does lead me to one thing that I think everybody should be doing in the new year that's not necessarily a goal, but something that I see a lot of people complain about. So let's head over to the range and we can knock that out.
Alright guys, as you can see, I'm headed to the dome. I'm going to hit a bucket of balls to kind of work on some swing thoughts that I have, and I'm really trying to just get myself prepped for some shots that I'll be facing next year in some of the tournaments. A lot of things that I like to prep for is kind of like the first tee shots. What am I going to hit? What am I thinking about? What's my target line? Just something I like to be prepped for, because I tend to get a little nervous on the first tees, and the more I prep myself for that, the less likely I am to choke, I guess. But anyways, as we're entering this new year, it's kind of like I wanted to talk more about what I did this year to grow personally, professionally, all those different things, without kind of coming off as a cheesy inspirational speaker. I had to get very uncomfortable this year by doing things that I've never done before, talking to people I've never talked to before, etc., etc. And a lot of those things I see people wanting to take the shortcut, and including myself. I didn't really want to put in the work. I wanted to kind of just sit around and hope that stuff would come to me by some magical power, but I realized it's not going to happen that way. I had to get out there and do the work, and I think a lot of us just know that we have to put in the work, but there's part of us that just thinks there's an easier way to do it, like losing weight or earning more money. There's not usually just a magic pill that you take that'll give you results. You have to put in the hard work that no one else wants to do. Therefore, very few people have those results. So before I pull up to the dome, I just wanted to reiterate that this is going to be more about things that I did and I asked for and the results that came from them. Sometimes I got a yes, sometimes I got a no, sometimes I got a maybe in the future. And all of those answers are fine, because the answer is always no if you don't ask.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. Some of those shots that I hit kind of sucked, but nothing I can do about that. I was working on a few things and didn't go quite as to plan. Anyways, what I was talking about in the car is just more of that this has been kind of a year of growth for me in a lot of ways. I've learned new skills. I've made new contacts. I've done a lot of things that have put me in an uncomfortable place at some point or another, but all have been pretty worth it. So I really just kind of wanted to leave you with a message going into this next year. Something simple, something actionable that you could start right now. And it's just mainly to ask for what you want. And I know that sounds maybe very selfish or in some ways just self-focused in general, but there's a way to do that that can help everybody, including yourself, which is kind of at the end of the day what we're trying to do. Is it's really hard to help others when you haven't taken care of yourself first in some way, shape, or form. So just a few examples was, as you saw on that Florida trip where I went to the PGA show, it was a simple email to the people that ran it, seeing if I could just get a social media pass, something I said I didn't have any business really getting, but they were kind enough to accept my application, and I was able to go down there relatively cheap and meet a bunch of people. It was great. Next, some of these golf trips that I've been on have been with people that I've never met before until I messaged them on Instagram. And that was just a simple hello, I like your stuff. We got talking, had a lot in common. There's been a lot of people that I've talked to on Instagram that I have nothing in common with that I would never be friends with. So it's not always batting 1,000% there. But those few people that I've made great connections with have been people that I think I'll be friends with for many years to come. And kind of lastly is I really want to make 2020 a year where I make golf content for a living. And I say that kind of tongue in cheek in the sense that I know it will take time to get to that point. First, I'm looking to turn it into a way that I can possibly make a side hustle or make extra money with. So what that means is I will need to do the uncomfortable thing of reaching out to businesses and different people and asking them for ways that we can work together. I'm going to have to send them my portfolio. I'm going to have to send them examples that I've done in the past with other companies and hope that's enough to convince them that that's something that they need. And so that's really putting myself out there, especially as a newer videographer and stuff like that, but I feel like I have a good ear for what a client may want, so it's something that I'm going to attack pretty aggressively here in 2020 and see what I can turn it into before the end of the year. So what it comes down to is kind of asking yourself, what do you want out of this year, and how can you ask the right people to help you, essentially? Maybe videography and photography and all this Instagram stuff is not your gig. Maybe you just want to write blog posts about different courses. I think that's great. There's a huge market for that if you can write well. Maybe that's sending out writing examples to different courses, reaching out to them even through Instagram, sending them an example and saying, hey, I'd like to come out and play your course one of these days and write a whole article on it. Is there anything you can help me out with when I come out to play? The worst thing they're going to say is not interested. You're in the same place you were 5 minutes before you wrote that email or Instagram message. The best thing they could say is, absolutely, come on out, we'll comp you around, you can have lunch up in the restaurant with our pro shop manager and get a feel for all that we do around here or something. I don't know. There's a lot of good things that can come from it that if once you open up that question, it's kind of an infinite possibility. So I just encourage you, whatever it may be, if it's a blog post, video, pictures, social media, all this different stuff, is just start asking more this year. Don't come off spammy. Don't message 10,000 people the same thing. Don't only ask for people to promote your stuff. It's going to take kind of a give and take with people and show that you're able to help others as well. Just encourage you to do that, see what happens. And I think when it comes down to 2021, you're going to be in a much better place than you were at the beginning of this year. I just want to wish all of you a happy new year. Thank you so much for the support over this prior year. I've gained over 500 something subscribers, which may not sound like a lot to many of you, but to me, that is 500 people that decided to click subscribe on the content that I create. I think that's awesome. So I just want to wish you all a happy new year, happy and safe one. I hope 2020 is full of excitement for everybody, and just get out there and do the stuff you're passionate about more and more and just live the life the best you can. We're going to wrap this video up with a Perfect Practice golf supply company sent me one of their new putting mats. I've been putting on it every night. It's awesome. I have it sitting right here in my office. So let's roll that, and I'll see you guys next year. Bye.